Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Work at Home Rockstar podcast. I'm excited for today's episode. We are talking with a business coach who helps people believe in themselves. We're talking to Jean-Luc, Coach Jean-Luc, and you ready to rock?
I am.
Perfect. So we always start off here on a good note. So tell me a story of success in your business that we can be inspired by.
Hmm. Um, Story of success. Well, I started with nothing, no money. I started with a passion for helping people succeed. In the fitness industry as a personal trainer, helping a man lose weight, putting all my heart into it, training him 4 days a week. He became a billboard for me. Everyone started wanting to work with me. I put all my heart into them. I ended up opening a fitness club that led me to opening more fitness clubs, had four fitness clubs, always pouring my heart into what's in front of me. I think that's the big thing. And then from there, I sold it and became a millionaire by 30, which was the goal I had set when I was 19 years old. And
Well,
once I hit that goal, I felt like, all right, I achieved it, success. Um, but then I wanted more, and I went on a spiritual journey of letting all the things go, letting all the money go, letting all the materials go. And bought an RV and started traveling and wanted to try a different approach to just business. And I went inwards. I just completely went inwards for 9 years. And now it's brought me back full circle to helping entrepreneurs, what I used to do before. And yeah, now I have like a set of tools on my belt that I feel help people on the inner stuff too, that is blocking us from moving forward.
right on. Yeah, it's a cool story. I I didn't get to the millionaire position, but I actually did have a similar situation where, I started off, got a degree in computer science, then started working for some IT companies, did some marketing, made a boatload of money, and it didn't answer anything, and sort of just took a step back and started all over again because, it's interesting how, there's so many people that will actually end up with a bunch of money and not be happy, right? And
Mm,
so, like,
yeah.
are you approaching anything differently this time around when you're building yourself back up as you did the first time?
Yeah, absolutely. So good question. Yeah, for me, there's really three pillars, and it's to make money, to also have free time, to enjoy life, to spend time with your family, you know, to do hobbies that you love, um, to just do what you want, you know?
Hmm.
And then the third one is that you really care about the work you're doing, like the people you're serving. And I say the word serving because it's like that's the big shift is like I see everything I do now in service to others. And before it was more, I would say I'd have more. I was thinking smaller, even though it was like $1 million and stuff like that. But it was just like I was using kind of everything I was learning in the business world. And now it's like I try to discard everything that everyone is doing and just focus on the end user, like the person, just like the people listening to this right now, and your podcast, just this doing it for them, you know, and full force.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say that. And so in doing that, in taking into consideration these three pillars, I'm going to start with different questions, instead of like, how do we make $1 million? I start with the question like, how do you want to live your days?
Yeah.
And, how much do you want to work? How much, what do you enjoy doing? What is your thing? You know, what brings you joy? How much money do you really need? You know, just questions, like introspective questions, because it's not about chasing the $1 million anymore, though, that's fun too. But I'm not discounting it. Money's still very important to me. And it's just more of a more balanced approach.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. With better, probably better boundaries, right? I think that was the main thing for me is that first time around, it was just a lot of work, just always working, 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 right? Whereas, like you say, I mean, how do you want to live your life? Do you want to spend time with family? Do you want to, do things that are more fun? Because you can still hit those massive goals and still have those boundaries in place, right?
Exactly. And I think a big difference, okay, is starting with the boundaries. And a lot of people, you know, it's very, you can get sucked in, hooked to the whole, idea of money. You can
Hmm.
really, it's very luring, right? Like, I'll give you a concrete example that just happened not too long ago, right? I'm a business coach, and I've set my boundaries as to my time. Like, I only coach once a week. I do it on Sundays. It's like a service to the world for me. On Sundays, I do it. I go back to back all day long. And I just feel fired up. And it's just the way I like to do it. And people go like, why do you do it that way? It's just the way I do it, because I feel on fire every single client I have. It builds energy for the next one. And then all week, the rest of the week, I don't need to do anything but 3 hours of work every day. And that's how I've set up my days. So I get up at 5:30 in the morning, and then I'm done at 9, and then I'm with my fiance, right? My daughter, if she's here. And that's my structure. And like, I gotta guard that with my life, because everyone tries to get in, right? And then, a few weeks ago, some guys like, okay, I want to become a client of yours, but I need you to do it on a different day than Sunday because I can't. I said, non-negotiable, you know, it's Sunday or nothing. And then he raises the price. Like, he's trying to like lure me in with more money.
Yeah.
And we're talking thousands of dollars, right? Like, and now it's
Um,
starting to like,
work.
like, do I break do I break my own boundary, right? And it's in those moments where all of a sudden you can go against yourself and just break your own boundary, and then it infiltrates your week, and now you start to accept other people. So to me, it's about being very firm on the way you want to live, and not being prostituted out for cash, and just like sticking to it. Other opportunities will come, other clients will come within that time frame, and that will fit my thing. And I think in the past, having been in my early 20s, I would have just taken that. I wouldn't have even thought about it. It would have been like a celebration that this guy is coming in midweek, and I would have worked late, and I would have let chaos infiltrate my life. But I don't work that way anymore.
Oh, good for you. So now on the journey though, I mean there are some bad notes that we hit too. So is there something that just doesn't go as planned or didn't go as planned that we can learn from in your story?
That didn't go as planned. Oh my God, I have so many failures. Like, one thing that's coming to mind is, I've been an entrepreneur since I'm 17 years old. So I have this mind that wants to jump into a lot of things, wants to create a lot of things.
Mm.
Um, so before I went on this spiritual journey 9 years ago, the last thing I was doing was I had an incubator for startups. And, I was starting many companies a year. And I just realized that I can't do that. I need to focus on one thing. And that took me a long time, because I think it was a lot to do with trying to prove myself, like trying to prove that I can get into the technology space and create software, and I could jump into a retail space and create different products that I did, events, and all this. I'm like, I don't regret a single thing. I've tried so many different industries, but now I know that, like, if I don't put 100% of my energy in one thing, it's like that proverb, chase two rabbits, catch none.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
really fits with me that if I sort of realize that I have like a hunting mind, which is just like one, go after that one thing. So if I can align my life towards that one thing, then I tend to have much better success.
Yeah. Well,
So
and
that's
and
that's one.
yeah, and I was listening to, what was I listening to? I was listening to an ebook. I can't remember which one it was. But he was talking about how, a lot of very, very successful entrepreneurs have so many businesses, right? They have all these businesses. And, we look at them and go, oh, they're into all these different things. But what we don't know is that anybody who's gotten to that point, they build one at a time. So they didn't build them all, right at the same time. They built one, then, got that one to the successful level and then handed it off, really. They've got an organization built there and then they started building something else. And so they really only put their focus into one thing at a time. Like that would be probably one of the reasons why I think a lot of people try to build so many things at the same time. And you're spinning a whole bunch of plates at the same time, something's going to fall, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I try to do everything as simple and as yeah, like trying to align it all towards one flow where I can put all my energy into one area, and in the most simple way too, because you can just get caught up in the complexities of things, especially in technology now, like just all these, with AI and with like the explosion of different AI sites, websites out there doing different things. It's very like, wow, 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 like so much going on,
Yeah.
and I'm not a technology person. I think that's another. You want to talk another mistake is go into something that it sounds like just common sense, but I would get lured into the software business. I spent over $100,000. Here's $100,000 lesson, more than $100,000, but here's $100,000 mistake. Don't get into something that is just really not a fit for you. Like I went into a software and created this app for fitness clubs that was recording, like it was called QFit, and I spent a year developing this app, and just it became so complex that by the time I got to the year of working on this thing and testing it out and implementing it, figuring out the bugs with clients, marketing it, all this stuff, right? It's so much work. And at the end of the year, the developer says, "Oh, we got to start over," kind of, because all the code is like, all the code is now like built upon. We got to
Yeah.
simplify it all and restart. And I'm going, how much is that going to cost? And he's like, oh, 40 grand. And I'm like, I can't keep doing this, And I was
Yeah.
just like, this is not my space. Like, I'm not a techie guy. I'm not I'm not somebody that's an early adopter of things. Why did I get into this?
Hmm.
So sort of going inwards to what is the gem that is me? What is something that I'm good at, And if I look back now, well, coaching, I've been doing that since I'm 17 years old. I've been coaching. When I led a team of over 40 employees, what was my skill there? Oh, it was leadership and coaching. Like what made my leadership good was I wasn't building followers, I was building other leaders.
Nice. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about getting fans and building, the marketing side of the business. So how did you go about bringing in the customers to your businesses?
Um, yeah, well, where does it start? It starts by being remarkable. right? And the word remarkable is worth making a remark about, that you don't talk about an average haircut. No one talks about the average haircut. You need to have something that's different.
Hmm.
And um and you can compete in business on being the best, or you can be different, right? And I've always chose the different route. Like, how can I just do it differently? And um, in a way that really, I don't believe we should do any marketing until we are remarkable, because the marketing is just like, the way I see it is just like putting sauce on the food, it's the after effect. And if you don't do that, you waste so much money, because everyone that's just, but instead, if you focus on making your service, your product remarkable, then the advertising just helps it go, because you know that when you get one customer, it's going to lead to two more customers.
Hmm.
But until you have that, there's no point. So my starting point with any entrepreneur is to look at how they're doing things. And I call it the unique service recipe. And what is your unique service recipe that makes you remarkable? That is actually proven that if we look at your track record, you're getting referrals. People, and then once you have that, then it's starting. Then it's the starting point. So the marketing starts in the service, in the product.
Love it. Yeah, I love it. I
And
agree with you 100% on that. Like so many people are, especially in nowadays with social media and how easy it is to buy ads. 20 years ago, if you were to go ahead and buy some ads, you'd have to buy a billboard, you'd have to buy a spot on TV or on the radio, and it costs a fortune. So I think people probably did spend a lot more time perfecting their message before they're going to go drop a bunch of money. But nowadays, you can just boost your post for $50 on Facebook. And so I think people just think, oh, I'm just going to throw some money at it and, it'll be fine. But that doesn't get them
yeah,
the results that they're
surprise.
looking for. Right? Next thing you know, nobody buys anything, or you might even end up getting a bunch of clicks, but nobody does anything because, like you say, they haven't figured out, that conversion yet. You've got to focus on something that, if you just send it out to a few people that you already know for free, and you get some conversions, you get some clients out of that, well, then you know that something's working. But if it's not working even in your own little circle, then why would spending money help, right?
Exactly. And I mean, we were just talking about music, right? Being a musician. If your music sucks, no one's going to, like, that's the starting point. It seems very obvious when you look at the music industry. Like, if your music sucks, no one's going to buy it no matter how many ads you put out there,
Yeah.
right? And so we start there. And then after that, once the product is remarkable, I'm a big believer in just coming up. I think creativity can solve anything. So, we tend to have this idea that we got to do it the same as everyone else. Like, I got to pay for ads or stuff like that. But I'll just give you a story that I was starting this event called Dessert Fest, and I ended up getting 30,000 people in 2 days. Okay, to this event,
Oh.
um, uh, at the Lansdowne Center in Ottawa,
Mhm.
and I I was like, how am I going to get this thing filled? Right, I got 100 vendors that I've sold to be there. They're selling desserts. They're putting desserts in place, and people are going to go all under one roof and get to experience all these samples of dessert. So I love the idea is like, okay, this is viral, this is remarkable, right? People are going to want this. And um and then I thought, how do I get that out? And then I thought, okay, everyone's going to Parliament Hill, right? Which is, for those that are maybe American listening to this, like the the White House of Canada.
Yeah.
and um, and there was 420 going on at the Parliament, right? Like a few weeks before the event, and there's thousands of people that show up to this. It was right before marijuana got legalized. Uh, got was not
Decriminalized. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't know what the word was. Yeah,
Yeah.
decriminalized. So there was thousands of people there. So I knew there would be thousands of people there. So I decided I was going to buy a mascot. Okay. And I drew out this mascot myself on a piece of paper, and it ended up costing me $6,000 to get this mascot done. But the mascot came off the truck and in Ottawa when I first saw it, and I was like laughing hysterically because everyone was rushing this mascot on the street to take selfies. And on this big mascot, it was a giant donut. Okay. And he had a chef hat on, and on the chef hat it said Dessert Fest.
Wow.
And as soon as he got off the truck, my sister was actually in the mascot, and she just walked off, and this thing looked so damn good. Like I said, I was laughing hysterically just seeing people run from across the street just to take selfies with him, and of course getting the logo in each one of those, right? And then we weren't even turned on the main street yet. So when we turned on the main street, I actually started to get worried because there was so many people that started crowding my donut mascot that like they just all wanted to take pictures. And as we walked, I had like a security guard friend of mine that was a police officer. He was like escorting this mascot. We go down. As soon as we turned on Parliament Hill, big open space, thousands of people there. There was a stage at the front, and there was people with a microphone, and all the national news was there with cameras on the stage right at the top. And as soon as I walked on the Parliament Hill, the guy that had the microphone pointed to the mascot and was like, "Get that mascot over here." And we went on stage, and he gave me the mic, and he said, "What is this? Tell me," because everyone, it got all this attention. So he said, "Tell me." I said, "It's Dessert Fest. It's in 3 weeks. All the desserts you can think about under one roof, and all these stoners were on the
That's
Parliament Hill,
great.
and national news across Canada." Okay. Um, I ended up getting that much attention with that one stunt, right? And
Wow.
then I recreated the same thing at the hockey game. At the door of the hockey game, who was there? CTV, national news. They said, "What is that mascot all about? Why is he here?" They put him on TV. We did the same thing with a marathon. So to me, there's always an opportunity out there for a creative act that's going to blow everything out the door. It's going to be more powerful than you paying for ads if you just sit with the silence of what needs to happen.
It's such a great story. Right on. Man. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the jam room. Now, I mean, you've been working from home for a long time, and actually, I could see you've got a different background there. So tell me a little bit about how you set up, you know, productive environment for working.
Hi, my name is Anik Malaf. I'm from Mastering Ascension, and I've been working with Tim Melanson and the Creative Crew Agency for a number of years now. Tim is my go-to guy for all things technology, and his team have helped me to really create the platform that I need that represents my brand, my message, and connects me directly to my ideal clients. What I particularly love about Tim is before he starts to dive into the technology, he always makes sure that he understands what your global view is, what your ultimate goals are. So then that way you're not wasting a lot of time back and forth switching around technology or platforms. He creates something from the get-go that is scalable, which is highly beneficial for any business. What I've experienced from Tim and his team is they're highly responsive. They are a wealth of information, and they're going to offer you the tools that you need to really make the mark that you want to make in the world. So that's my recommendation for Tim. He's awesome. You're going to love every minute. you won't regret it.
Right. So for me, time management is super important. Like I said at the beginning, the boundaries, setting the boundaries on your time, very important. So I've developed this product, the Freedom Blueprint, and it starts off by really painting a picture of the vision you want. So there's the personal vision, and then there's the impersonal vision. The personal vision is, how do you want to live your life, right? How do you want to live every day? Who do you want to spend it with? How much money do you actually need to fulfill the life you want? What do you want to own? What do you not want to own? Like just it's very selfish. It's all about you. There's that personal vision. But that's an aim, because after that, I tell my clients, discard that, because that is a byproduct of what's going to happen when you become selfless. And now you have to just put that aside. You've already written it out, so it's already sort of clear, manifested in your own way, and it's back there. And then we focus on, what is the vision? What is your dream? What is your purpose? What is your mission? Right? And what is your vision? How are you going to get there? And let's create a plan and structure that so it's very clear. And then from there, step two, once we have the clear vision, is we move to goals and communication, which is setting monthly goals. And I've done so many systems. So I've tried so many different systems out there. I've done a lot of coaching with different people, and I've taken what's been useful and what's stuck with me over the years. So it goes from this: one, have an extremely clear plan; two, set goals monthly, like just a goal and what you need to achieve, what you need to do to achieve that goal, like make so many phone calls or send so many emails to achieve that goal. So put that every month, that should be happening. And then on a monthly basis, if you have even one employee, one team member, that you stay in contact with them on a daily basis and on a monthly basis. So the daily basis is just a quick phone call, a quick message. Hey, how's it going? Any blockage? No. Okay, move forward. And then the other system for that is on a monthly basis that you're discussing how we move this forward. Okay. And then on the third level of this, if we looked at it as a pyramid, the base would be your daily habits. So how do your daily habits relate to your monthly goals, and how do your monthly goals relate to your long-term vision? And this is really the system in a nutshell. And the daily habits are crucial, because it's like, and in those daily habits, I say there's really two time blocks. I call it a time block. A time block for yourself, first and foremost. Okay, the time block for yourself is working out, meditating, whatever you're into, going for a walk, eating breakfast, and just, like just your solo time. It's time for you, and it's time for you to just connect with yourself and silence, or just really connecting with yourself, because a lot of people, they don't have the space in their mind to come up with these creative ideas. They're just sort of doing, working, never having the space to sort of like let go of all this energy and just like go back to what does the world want from me right now? So I often ask myself that question: what does the world want from me? What do my clients want from me now? So that's one time block that is crucial. I do it at 5:30 every morning, and it's non-negotiable. And the second time block is one where we work on the future of where we want to go. Because when I look at working with clients, what I started to notice is that everyone is focused on now, or like, this week, like, okay, I need to put money in the bank right now. And they're also focused on external work, which is like okay, I need to do this. I need to make these sales calls. I need to do this. But very few people are focused on the future work and on the inner work. And, and, you know, so that's why the inner work is blocked off as a time slot. The inner work is you spending time with yourself, getting to know yourself. And the future work is a block of time, which can be just an hour, where you work on the question, how do I do this better? And what you're doing is you're then optimizing what you currently do. It's getting everything you can out of everything you've got. And there's really, there's a TED talk I watched a long time ago on exploration versus exploitation, and how these two sort of things are always, you can perfect what you do, or you can go out and try to get other stuff. You can find new tools, or you can really maximize the tool you currently have. Right? So I make sure that my clients have these two time slots in place, one for themselves and one dedicated, guarded, uninterrupted, no distractions, time to improve what they're already doing. And in that, they figure out what the core problems are. Because a lot of the times where we're wasting time is we're wasting time on surface level problems instead of going to the root of them and then changing the root of them so we don't have to deal with them anymore. I don't know if any of that is that too much or
No, that's perfect. Which actually brings me to your guest solo. So tell me what's exciting in your business now.
oh
Yeah.
I'm just so excited for my clients' success that I'm just watching unfold. I have someone that I just helped really double their price, and they didn't lose a single person, which was just crazy to me, that from one day to the next, somebody's making double. And all that was stopping that from happening is somebody saying, hey, why don't you double your price? And then what was really happening was like this resistance to, am I worthy of that? I'm not worthy of that.
Yeah.
And just an encouragement from an outsider being like, yes, you are worthy of that. Like, just do it and see what happens. And she did it. And all of a sudden she messaged me, she said, I didn't lose a single client. Why didn't I do this before? Right. So she made an extra like $25,000 from one day to the next. And that's exciting to me. I also have somebody that I'm working with that just started doing videos this morning, and he committed to doing a daily video. And I listened to his video about commitment, and I shared it. And I just thought, yes, anything that expands people and helps them get to their dream just completely lights me up. It's more fulfilling than my own success.
So who would be the ideal client for you then that would get the most out of working with you?
The ideal client for me is somebody that is a small business owner. I call them freedompreneurs that value freedom over just sort of the hustle of getting to $1 billion kind of thing, right? So they value their free time, and they also want to do something that is connected to their heart, that they feel purposeful about, and that they're making a difference. And then more on a demographic level, it's a small business owner making over $130,000 a year. And that has like one employee, or like, 1 to 50 employees that want to expand their business in a way that gives them freedom.
Love it. So how do we find out more about this then?
Well, you can go to coachjeanluc.com. I'm also doing daily videos on YouTube, on TikTok. You can find me on Facebook. I'm pretty outspoken on my Facebook, in my writing about my views, whether you like it or not. And yeah, any of the social media platforms, I'm there. Or
Nice.
my website if you want to check out my product, my group coaching, my one-on-one coaching. Yeah.
Love it. Well, this has been a lot of fun rocking out with you today, Jean-Luc. Thanks so much.
Thanks, man. I had a blast. Thank you.
Cool. And to the listeners, make sure you subscribe, rate, and comment. We'll see you next time on the Work at Home Rockstar podcast.